Yo. Alright, so again, DataWeave.milsub.com. DataWeave is becoming open source. I will say this in every single video for this year because it is super important. Join our community, Slack, GitHub, or Stack Overflow. So I will go to the Stack Overflow thing. There are a ton of questions and answers regarding DataWeave, and I selected now this one. Access embedded XML attribute using DataWeave. Now, this one was not specifically like super useful because it is very use case specific, but it is helpful for you to understand how to insert attributes to an XML tag or how to use attributes in XML in general. So for example, here we have this DataWeave script. It's creating an XML. But then notice here, for example, in title, we have at and then lang n or English year book.year. And this becomes the attributes. So if we go to title, we will see here lang n and year 2005, for example, or 2003. Or for example, LOC US, which is a locale, I believe. And we have here at, and then in parentheses, LOCUS. So this is how you can add attributes in XML if you don't know what an attribute is in XML. It's basically the tags that go inside this thing. So for example, this price field doesn't have any attributes. It's just a price field and that's it. Or the book field is just the book field, or the bookstore is just the bookstore field. But the title field has two attributes, which are lang and year, and the author field has one attribute, which is LOC. So that is basically what attributes are in XML, and as we saw, you can add them using the at keyword. So what happened here is that this person has this incoming payload, and then this is a DataWeave script. So I added those. Here's my payload.xml. And by the way, if you're wondering how to add two different payloads, because I already had a JSON payload that I did in the previous video, you can just create inside resources, source test resources, main playground inputs. I already had the payload.json one. So now I'm just adding the payload xml.xml one. Also, if you're wondering how to get all of this structure, you can just go to the DataWeave Playground and click on the export button that's at the top, and then import it here. Well, you have to unzip the zip that is downloaded to your computer, and then import that folder into Visual Studio Code. And you should already have the DataWeave extension installed in Visual Studio Code for you to be able to do all this. But anyway, I already have my payload xml.xml payload, which is the input. And then this is a script. It's just defining a bunch of namespaces. And it also has one property called write declaration false. Not important. The issue here was that, which outputs the following message, which is the same that I have. You will notice that the incoming payload has this line, username token, UID. So if we go here, we will find here username token, and it indeed has U. This is just the namespace, by the way. Whatever is on the like colons in a field is a namespace. And then we have the attribute ID with this value. But if we go here and run this, and we go to the username token, we will notice that UID is null, which is what this person is saying, whereas the outgoing message has this line. So Harshank Bansal, which is the person that we actually saw, asked a question in the last video. Kudos. You just need to remove the header security because the path to that is already covered before the map function. So it's just the username token mapping should look like this. So if I go back here, they're talking about this line in specific there. So this is what the user had added, username token, and we have here the to add the attribute. The attribute is UID, which is regular. But then the thing here is that they're trying to do from the map, they're trying to do .header, .security, .username token, and then the ID field, which is what is wrong. So the only thing that they needed to do was to, instead of doing this whole thing, they just needed to remove this part to end up with username token.id. And that was it. That was the only thing. So I said that this was very use case specific, but this is very useful if you're working with XML formats and you don't know exactly how to format them at all. This can help you because, for example, here's an which is adding the attribute. In the attribute is ID. But then there are also other things, like I said, the U colon, which is referring to the namespace, and the namespace can be found here. This is the namespace SUHO. You can name these however you want. You just have to reference to them here. So, for example, this is the O namespace, and you were using the username token field. And then we're adding an attribute called ID from the namespace U. And then we're referring to, I'm gonna comment out the wrong one and put the right one. And then we're referencing to the O namespace, username token dot @id, because @id is the value, if I remember correctly. So this one has in it. And then we just reference to username token because this is the actual value and not the attribute. So this whole thing is the attribute, this thing is a field, this thing is a value. That's it. So now, if we run this, now we will be able to see username token with the corresponding ID that we had in the input. And then we just have username, my username, which is a field inside this other field, and this is the value. So that's it. I will put the links to the Stack Overflow questions and answers and to this documentation file so you can reference to it. There are more things to do here. If you want to understand how to use XML, like output self-closing XML tags to remove certain XML attributes, pass XML attributes, include XML namespace, and so on. So if you're new to XML in DataWeave, this page will be helpful for you. Also, this is version 2.4, so if you change your version, you can simply go here and put latest instead of 2.4. This will take you to the latest version instead of the specific version. All right, so that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what else I can do for you. And there are my social media handles at @DevalXMartinez. Follow me, send me comments, reply to my stories. I don't know. You can engage with me. Or you can also go to my website, alexmartinez.ca, and I will be able to talk to you via there. All right, thank you so much for coming. I will see you in the next video. Bye!